BTC 108K. Things are getting spicy out there. It's just hit 109K. Is it time to send it down? Is it short time, or is this pump going to continue, guys? Are we loading up for the final alts move here? Is there more pain coming later on? So we're going to talk about all of that today. I've got tons of alts. We got some short-term breakouts for you as well. There's so much going on here today. Let's get right into it. And remember, guys, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, and hit the subscribe, and let's hit the bullhorn because I'm dying to short BTC. James, am I shorting this thing? Come on.
It looks like it's gonna fall over right now, but I don't know, man. Just like I said in the show this morning, we're gonna have a New York surprise. They fucking pumped us. They might do it again.
Let's ask Dave. Dave's just entered the chat. There he is.
There he is.
Bullish. Are we shorting this thing? Dude, I'm itching. I got to order at 110, bro. Oh, am I going to get rinsed? He's not there. He's not talking to us.
He's
Dave,
not answering us anyway.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, he's breaking up a bit. Some internet issues. We're going to bring you back now. Okay, we're going to bring you back now. Okay, guys, let's go. Let's get into this. There's a lot going on. So Banter Bubbles looking a little bit dreamy at the moment, nice and green. Remember, this is round 2. We did a live trading show earlier today, and we caught some of these breakouts, thankfully. I've got some Pengu running at the moment as well. So there's lots to recap here. But in terms of these alts, they're absolutely ripping. But I think the show is all about BTC at the moment. Fuck, I want to short this thing so badly. Now, BTC pumping into 109,460. I've got a limit order waiting at 110. Have I missed the boat now? Is it too late? So what is the current plan if this drop or continues? Let's pull out our most bullish fib quickly. Let's get out our 236 absolute degen fib. Let's see where that is. And that for me could hold. So 107,700, guys. This is going to be your first line of degen support. If we start losing that, I think we're going to be under pressure in some of the market here. So let's see if we can hold 107,700. And for me, possible shortcoming, maybe one more push to the upside here. 110, bang, I'm going to send it to 0. That was my plan. Obviously, happy to get lickies on this one. And if it means I'm taking one for the team. So I'm going to take one for the team for you guys if I need to. Dave, are you back? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Bullish? Bearish? Are we shorting this thing?
I'm not shorting it, but if you want to.
You mean you're not mentally disturbed? Okay.
I'm net long on these alts. I was waiting for dominance to have a pullback here. I mean, I'd like for Bitcoin to kind of chill out here. It's fine, range a couple thousand here and there, but I definitely would like to see the altcoins.
So yeah, how do we get an alt run, guys? Well, it's simple like this. This is how we get a nice alt run. You're going to look for some kind of flag on BTC. You're going to look for some kind of chilled consolidation. So nothing serious here. Anything like that should unlock the altcoin. So that is ideally what we want to see. So guys, 107,700. If we drop lower, 106,600. And then 105,700. These are the main ping pong zones. These are the main reaction zones that we need to be watching. Now, before we jump into some of the news, let's just take a look at dominance. We are right now sitting at our dominance rejection zone. So this is the alts run zone. This is the yellow zone that you see up here. That was our alts run zone number 1. We have already had a small taste. We had that red candle earlier today or yesterday. Now we've got BTC leading the charge. If we reject here, these alts are going to pop. If we pop through here, and Bitcoin rejects, i.e. if Bitcoin starts falling over and this dominance rips through here, these alts are going to feel some pain until we hit 64.7%, and that is where we're going to get that alt bounce. Okay, so our job here is if the alts start rolling over, we need to maintain composure. We need to watch where BTC bounces, and ideally we're going to look for short-term higher lows on these alts, 382, 618s on local fib pools, and we're going to look for those to play out. So that is my current that's my current strategy here. Let's take a look at some of these lickies at the moment. So where's our lickies? Yeah, they are 308 million. I suspect I might be a symptom of that at some point if we do get a little bit more power out of BTC. And Magnus says, why not short Bitcoin? Bro, I'm locked and loaded there, 110. I've got my order waiting. So 300 million at the moment. There is a little bit of action there on the lickies front. And then in terms of, well, 𝗵𝗆𝗇 saying BTC is this close to breaking out. And I mean, it pretty much is about to break out. But are we going to catch that fake out and send it down? That is my dream scenario, Dave. I really just want to catch that top of that pump there if I can. So there is a bit of bearish news floating around at the moment, guys, and this is why there's a lot of uncertainty currently in the market. The US 30-year Treasury yield jumps above 5%. That was earlier today. Now we've got trouble in Japan as well. There's big trouble in Japan. Is there another Japanese carry trade situation? Is there another bit of drama coming into the markets? If you want to read about it, Endgame Macro at One Chance Freedom has written a little story here for you guys. This is way too long for me to read. I mean, it's a long one. But if you want to read about it, there is trouble in paradise, and everybody seems to be ignoring that current situation at the moment. And then in terms of institutional investors, they remain bearish of US stocks at the moment. And we are seeing that. We've had a big pump in the S&P over the last few weeks, and most likely some profit taking as well. And I think some of these guys, based on the macro situation, are looking a little bit lower in terms of the S&P and some of these stocks. And James, talk to me about this. The Trump's tax bill, is this being passed now? What's the current situation here, sir?
He called it the big, beautiful bill. He's been talking about it for weeks, and it did pass. Biggest tax cut to average Americans in history, I believe. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, lowers the tax rate effectively for your lowest earners up to 80 grand. I think it's a massive change. There was money for child tax credits, all kinds of stuff in there. There's other stuff that I know some people aren't happy about whatsoever, but the market seemed to like it. That's when it really started popping last night as soon as that passed.
Bullish.
Look, S&P, yeah, I mean, that is pretty bullish. The S&P is not that bullish at the moment. Okay, so let's just look where we are in the S&P, and it's pretty flat, okay, at the moment. We're not getting a major pump out of it currently. It's all about BTC, and look, my view remains the same, and I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy to take the lickies here if we are going to fall over, but my view was always, I want to see an all-time high on Bitcoin. I want to see an all-time high on the S&P, and then I think we are falling over. So I'm quite surprised the S&P hasn't given us that final little rip just yet. You can see this oscillator is getting ready to do something, and it's getting a little bit tired for me, guys. So my sentiment still remains. If we're going to get one more push here, we need Bitcoin to hold up at these areas. We can't get a big rejection, or I think that is going to be the start of trouble. Now, you know what, bad macro news, gold loves bad macro news. Now, gold is obviously getting super bullish again. We've been covering this in detail on the show in the last couple of days. We got double bullish divergence prints on the gold 12-hour. So we know gold wants to send higher. Anybody in trading higher time frames, your support is 3,240. That is what you're watching. Ideally, you get that dump into that zone. That comes with a nice S&P push, and then we get a nice send there on gold. So watching that very closely in terms of the higher time frame trades, and then in terms of lower time frame, I took the short earlier today on gold, and this short was specifically for an S&P pump and a gold pullback. Now, we're not seeing a major S&P pump just yet, and gold is kind of messing around, but this is my typical hot zone short area, and you can see gold has reacted in this region, and ideally, I'm looking for this little dip into 3,250, that type of region, and that's about it's not even a big move. It's like a 2% move there on gold, and that'll take us down into that big swing long region that we are looking at. So that is my current game plan. Gold on the 1 hour was turning bearish divergence print, but obviously, you know, there's no guarantees with these. It can carry on going, but in terms of good levels for a short, you can see it reacted in that zone. So 3,320 for me makes sense. And then a backup short zone, 3,360 makes a lot of sense to me there as a backup short zone. And here's my current situation. So I'm running short on BTCC gold, and I've got my Microsoft short that just won't roll over just yet. I'm obviously making the assumption here that the S&P is also going to start bleeding out, and they're going to take Microsoft down with it. Another one that is interesting to me is obviously Tesla, and Finance a Lot says Kramer never fails. He must have told everyone to buy Tesla, but Tesla started rolling over. Okay, you can see he's watching a couple of indicators, and maybe he's been watching the show, because I've been talking about a Tesla short for the last couple of days as well, and we are pretty much into the first buy zone for a Tesla short, 351 to 383, making the most sense to me at the moment. You can see this oscillator is starting to turn bearish as well. So I am looking for a final pump into that zone, some of these stocks, and then some kind of roll over there. So Tesla, we're looking forward to that one. And then Microsoft as well. You can see we are nearly at the highs. That's our all-time high. So maybe a final pump here. I've got an order at 364 just to fill one more, looking for a fake out to the upside, and then come and fill this gap down here. That is making the most sense to me on Microsoft. So I've been laddering in very slowly. Remember, these stock trades, they're not 24/7 like crypto, and sometimes they take a lot of time to play out. Those of you that shorted Google with me will know we waited 7 or 8 days, and then eventually Google fell over for us. I'm waiting patiently here on Microsoft. Let's see if that is going to help us at some point. So looking forward to that rolling over, and hopefully no lickies coming. Now, 𝗏𝗏𝗟𝗍𝗃 is basically telling me we're going to get lickied here. Look at this. 30 minutes ago, 2 billion in USDT minted. That's not liquidity. It's jet fuel. No, he doesn't have that voice. He doesn't talk like that.
There was another billion on top of that. This was on Tron. There's another billion in Tether. There's three.
Okay, so look, there's a couple of billies. Now, the fun thing about this Dupes tweet is me and Dupes are going to do live trading tomorrow. Okay, and we're going to go do some degen shit, and looking really forward to it. How are you going to watch the live trading? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Crypto Live. That is our other Banter live trading channel. And you're going to click on subscribe. Make sure your notification bell is on. Okay, because me and Dupes are going to go live tomorrow, and you need to have your notifications on. Please make sure you are subscribed to this channel. And when we go live, you are going to get pinged. You can see I went live earlier today with Panda, and we did a live trading session. That's where we caught Pengu, Mudeng. What did he get? He got cow. That thing is ripping. I don't know what else we got. But anyway, guys, it's going to be a big one. Tomorrow morning, make sure your notifications are on. Okay, there's going to be a little bit of action there with me and Dupe. So Crypto Live. Okay, there's the link. And let's go. Let's talk about James Wynn. This guy, whoever this is, what a beast. 6,300 BTC long at the moment. That is only $670 million. And he's printing at the moment. Yes, sir.
Apparently this guy is some big scammer from 2023. Everybody was talking about it in the Discord last night. He's I've never heard of the guy, but can't say I follow any of that kind of stuff, and saying, oh, he's this massive scammer. Everybody knows him.
Well, he's cooking. Well, if this is
making money.
A real long, guys, if it's a real long, he's cooking. Good luck for him. Okay. In terms of BTC on the daily, this is the plan. This is my now or never moment. And I told you guys I was shorting the shit out of this thing, and I've got my order waiting. 110K. I wanted the fake out through the order block over there, and a final sort of last gasp move, and then some kind of sell off here on BTC. So that is what I'm doing there. I'm locked and loaded. Let's just show you where my BTC order is sitting at 110K. Let's just get BTC out here. And we've got that first order wait. You see, I'm dying to short this thing here. It looks so stiff. 110K, $100,000, waiting for that thing to get hit. And then if we do go higher, we might have to short it at 112. We might have to add to that one for us there. Okay, so here's my current situation. Link finally cooking, Popcat finally cooking, Ondo finally cooking, Virtual finally cooking, Giga finally cooking, and Nero from this morning finally cooking. God, we had to wait for these to start working. Okay, so stuff is working on these things. Jeez, I want to short this thing so badly. Okay, let's go. Okay, we've covered there. And guys, don't forget, final reminder, the daily candle free alpha into your email inbox. Hackers Day is tomorrow. The whole team from Hackers preps charts, and you get it sent to your email every Thursday. But the daily candle comes every single Monday. And what I'm going to do is, if you are subscribed to that, 1 or 2 lucky subscribers are going to get a free trial in Chart Hackers. Okay, so make sure you are in there. Everything I talk about, guys, the link is in the show description. Click on more, and you will see all the information here, including the daily candle and Good Morning Crypto. Everything is there for you guys, including the exchanges that I talk on and talk about, and everything there. Okay, right. I feel like we've missed this short, guys. Okay, let's go. Let's talk liquidations and see where we are. And in terms of the 24-hour at the moment, we just want to see the latest information, and we can see a nice juicy zone just above 110. That could be an easy grab for market makers. Another zone at 111, making sense. And then lower down, a key easy grab zone, 107,900. That ties in pretty nicely with our 236 bullish fib over there. So if we do get a drop there, that could be a little long bounce there for you guys. So look out for that if that is going to play out. And then a reminder here, and Ben Cowan, he is seldom wrong. And when it feels like this, sometimes we have to just check ourselves, make sure we're not getting overly bullish. And this guy gets it right a lot of the time, and he's talking about a bleed out versus BTC. Now, there could be a bleed out versus BTC. If BTC rips to 120, 130K, that would be ideal because these alts won't get that damaged The problem is if Bitcoin rejects. So just keep your eyes on this situation. If that is going to play out, it is something to be aware of. Then in terms of our 4-hour heat map, you can see what's going on. I know Panda caught cow earlier today. I've seen his P&L. It's disgusting. And that is now heavily overbought there, guys. And then in terms of 𝗏, our 𝗏 long from yesterday, that is finally working. So those of you that took the long swing trade with me and Panda, all 3 of those orders hit that are set on Blowfin, and we are now cooking in a 𝗏 trade. We're going to have to see if that holds, but I'll go through the chart for you guys and we'll cover that. And then the rest of the tokens, a lot of them are moving above neutral, which can be considered a relatively bullish thing. There might be some more energy in them, at least into the strong or the overbought zone. So that is something bullish there for us to pay attention to. Now, in terms of the USDT dominance, remember what we want for the crypto market. We just want this dominance to come down. And right now you can see we had our bear flag and we dropped. Now we got a second bear flag and we are looking for this final drop on USDT dominance. Now, it depends how hard this goes, but if this does start dropping fast, I expect a very big altcoin move, like a turbo-sized altcoin move. We're going to have a couple of days where we get 10%, 15% moves on some of these altcoins. And then ultimately, once this USDT dominance hits here, I would be super cautious. 3.8%, that is a major take profit zone for me on everything if we drop into that zone. And again, probably going to bounce there. It would be very strange if we just blew straight through that area. I'd most likely see that bounce in that type of region, and that could be our blow off top and then a nice big rejection on USDT dominance. So be careful with that, guys. Make sure you are tracking that. And let's see. Tony is long WIF. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, we're going to look at WIF. I actually closed my WIF long from yesterday. I closed it earlier today. I banked those profits. I've got the chart ready for you guys, so don't panic. Now, ETH is overheating, according to Cointelegraph, near the $2,500 level, rising volume signaling a likely short-term correction on ETH. So you can see the red dots. The last few times we had those red dots, things tended to fall over a little bit there on ETH. So that is a little warning shot there from Cointelegraph. And let's see, Mr. Redbeard says, free trial chart hackers would be dope, being on the edge on joining. Bro, come for a free trial. Sign up to the daily candle and come for a free trial, bro. Okay, so ETH USD, 8 hour, we've broken a trend, but it hasn't been a super bullish break. All I can say right now, well, I'm not trading ETH, but in terms of key support, again, no changes here, 2,400. And if you are doing degen things on ETH, the best thing I can give you at the moment is a support under the last two 8-hour candles, 2,500. So you could use that one as your support. If you close under that, ETH starts looking bearish to me. 2,400 coming next, and then 2,320 is coming next. 𝗏𝗏𝗟𝗏 wants to send XRP there. Yeah, I mean, it might. Look, anything can pump in these conditions. Let's talk ENA. So we did have this on the live trading session earlier today, and it actually never came back deeply enough for me to get my first entry. So I ended up taking a degen entry on L-Bank, and you can see here, ENA, I've got $17,000 running at the moment. It's pretty flat. I've got a SUI long that was also a breakout setup that I dropped in the live trading session earlier on Crypto Live, and then Pengu, also a breakout trade from earlier today. So that is my current situation. No changes to Sol other than it's turning a little bit green now and making things look a little bit better. So in terms of ENA, guys, there is obviously this Genius Act news, and this could be one of the beneficiaries of the news, and you can see there is renewed interest in it at the moment. All I can say at the moment is big resistance at 407, and in terms of degen support, well, your first level that I can suggest, 391, watch 391 as your first support zone, and then lower down you've got 375 as your next support zone. So you can see I am flat, but it is a bit of a degen play. So my exit plan 387. If we close under that 387, you can see that's the low of the 4-hour candle. If we go back and we retrace that whole candle, and that whole candle drops, and we close underneath that, I don't know if that's the most bullish sign for the market, unless it's some crazy flush out or something like that. But if you get a close on the 4-hour time frame back below the previous candle, for me, feels a little bit bearish. So I'm going to be jumping out of that one if that does happen. Okay, so remember, guys, all these charts go straight into Chart Hackers directly after the show for you. So don't panic. If you're seeing them, you can just be in Hackers and you'll get all of these things after the show, and you can play with them at your leisure. Salvador wants 70K Bitcoin before July. Not the worst, sir. Not the worst call. And James is loving that. Mr. 𝗶𝗆𝗟, he's loving that.
That'd be a nice short.
It would be. That's why I'm trying to short it now at 110. I'm desperate. I'm desperate. Come on. Maybe it's going to hit my order live on the show. We can get lickies together. That'll be fun. Okay, let's go. Where we? Okay, we've covered that. Let's talk a couple of big ones here. Now, Sol still not out of the woods. Okay, I'm still not ready to add to the Sol position because we haven't broken out of our wedge, and we could easily, very, very easily, just be in the midst of this move on Sol. Why would that not make sense? So, looking for a nice hard break here on Sol. When we start breaking and holding 173 for me, it's starting to make sense. We can maybe start using that as support. And then just like you saw on E and A, you're looking for a typical pop like this. When you pop these horizontals, you most likely reject 176, and then you're looking for the bulls to step in around 173. That is pretty much what you want to see for Sol if you want to trade a breakout. Other than that, we are at resistance, guys. Okay, resistance. Don't long too much at resistance unless you have mental issues like some of us in chart hackers. And we want to play these breakouts like Panda. And who of you guys watched the live trading session on Crypto Live earlier today? We took some high-risk breakout plays on some absolute shitcoins. Panda's, obviously, that's his expertise, and you can find him in chart hackers, obviously, all the time. So if you like that type of action, you know where to go. EDG says 140K before September. God, there's wars in the chats here. There's like a 70K difference between what some of these guys are saying. Okay, well, all I'm saying is, guys, Sol is at resistance, okay? At resistance. If it breaks, maybe there's some fun. Same as 𝗬𝗎 at the moment. And what I've got here is 𝗬𝗎 on the 2 hour. So this is a proper degen play. And you can see it looks exactly like Sol. You see that shape on Solana at the moment. Look at the shape here on Sol. And that is the same shape on 𝗬𝗎. I'm just on a lower time frame. You can see that shape there that we are looking at. So possible breakout here on 𝗬𝗎, but we cannot discount, something like that playing out as well. So if we do get some kind of weakness, we might be looking for longs tomorrow at 3.72, something like that. But right now, in terms of being an absolute savage degen, this was the plan that I gave earlier on the live trading. We look for a pop, we look for a rejection, and then we just want to make sure that it holds that 3.9 region. And so far, so good. So I'm using 3.9 as my support. If we close under that, we probably come down here, maybe a bounce, maybe not, okay? And then we're going to play that game later on. So I'm not going to stick around on these breakout plays to find out. I'm not going to fuck around and find out. I'm just going to cut it if there's hard rejections, and then we can always look. Remember, I love these big reversal plays. Some of the best plays are the 2 hour, 4 hour bullish divergence reversals, and the breakout plays obviously come with a little bit more risk. And I don't want to carry a breakout play all the way down 5%, those types of stop levels. Not really what I'm looking for at the moment. So that is the 𝗬𝗎 breakout play. And then where are the possible targets here for us? Target number 1, 4.1. Target number 2, 4.27 is what we're looking at. So 4.1 and 4.27 makes the most sense to me as potential targets if 𝗬𝗎 continues breaking out. And then, guys, if this happens during the middle of the night and I'm not here, okay, watch that zone, 3.68. Watch that. Okay, that could be your possible dip buy later on. Okay, 3.68. Watch that one play out. Now, let's cover Pyth from yesterday. That was hectic. Okay, so Pyth, we took 2 trades. One of them was a degen scalp trade where we exited below that little cluster where it was finding support. The other one was a swing long play on Pyth where I made 3 orders on Blowfin, laddered down into the zone that we were looking at. Those 3 orders all hit yesterday shortly after the show. And in terms of what is happening now, you can see on Pyth, we do have bullish divergence printing, and we have now had a nice full reversal here in that zone. So we looked at this earlier. Just a reminder to everybody, there is risk here with Pyth because there was a big token unlock, but we noticed that leading into the token unlock, there was a monster sell-off. So in spite of all the pumping in the market, Pyth has been selling off leading into the token sell-off. So our gamble was the sell-off is complete or it's partly priced in, and we were looking for some kind of bounce long so the market can reprice Pyth. Now, right now we are looking in the zone, but we cannot discount Pyth dipping again into something like that. So look out, we could easily come back to 1, 2, 3. That is still an area of possibility for Pyth. And then in terms of upside zones, guys, 1, 4, 6 and most likely 1, 6 make the most sense to me there. On Pyth at the moment, okay? And then in terms of the Pyth situation, here it is. So I've now got a $20,000 long. So we had 3 orders. I think it was 5,000, 7.5 and 7.5 or whatever it was staggered down. And we are now 20,000 long on Pyth. We collected that on a nice swing trade. I think we had about a 6% leeway there. And it was one of those low margin type of operations. Then Mooding was that breakout play from Panda earlier today. Then I closed my Pendle long at the highs. I was feeling a little bit bearish about it. And then I've opened up a small Pendle scalp long at these highs, just in case they are going to test it one more time. So that is what's going on there for me at the moment. And then let's talk E&A. So here we go. Did we just discuss this? Didn't we just discuss this? I did, hey. Yes.
Yeah, you covered it, but I think you should cover Trump. Screaming Trump, 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 because that dinner's tomorrow. So I think we're getting a big pump into the dinner.
Okay, the Trump dinner. Okay, let's Brett breakout.
Lots of requests for that too.
Let's look at Trump. Trump tether perps. Jesus. Oh wow, look at that, guys. I mean, little retest there on some Horries, hey? Little retest there, and off she goes. So look, in terms of Trump, yeah, I mean, this is dangerous. Obviously, Dave, what do you think about this, bro?
Where's Panda when you need him?
Short or long, Dave? Yeah, this is where we call Panda. We say, well, we're longing this fucking crazy thing. Okay, let's look at 786. Bang. Okay, danger zone. Yeah, Dave, why don't you look at this, bro? Why don't you have a little Dave sauce here on this Trump situation? Find us a hot short zone.
I brought it to his attention yesterday because it was pumping already.
So it might not be this one. It might be the one higher, but I know Dave's got an eye for a short. Okay, so Dave's going to chart us a Trump short on his 4 monitors. I mean, this guy's got fucking 4 monster screens in front of him. Nice setup, bro, by the way. I'm quite jealous. He's very focused there. He's very focused. Okay, so here we go. So Trump looking like a rejection zone at 15. If this is a pump into the dinner, guys, well, I think it goes without saying that we need to look for a short. So let's see, when is that dinner, James? Is it around the corner?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, guys.
Yeah,
could be a
tomorrow.
short on Trump. Okay, just saying. Could be a short on Trump.
Pump into and short at the dinner. Sell the news.
Correct. 15.1 and 16.3 so far. We're gonna let Dave take a look there. He's gonna put his eyes on that thing for us. I know he's got an eye for a bit of a short situation. Okay, let's talk another thing on the table here. Notable DeFi token accumulation maker and uni alerts. Okay, so whales are now getting stuck into uni. Who would have thought uni would ever make a comeback? But there's obviously a chance that this thing pumps with all the latest news as well and things like that. So in terms of uni, I'm not like delirious for this thing. Okay, like if you look at like E&A, for example, and it's slightly different look to it. But in terms of uni, oh, we'll get to poppies now. Where's my uni gone? Oh, there it is. So if we're going to talk about uni, you can see the basics here. We've got an 8-hour trend break, and we do have an 8-hour horizontal support that we can watch. Bang. Okay, so 6.11. If you want to look for something on uni, it could be potentially bullish with the latest ETH news. In terms of risk, guys, 3%, so it's not the worst. In terms of upside targets, 6.6, 7.1, and 7.5. Okay, that kind of makes sense to me. So it's a typical trend break here. It could be a runner. It might not be. It's never been my most bullish play, but it is a play. Okay, so Maker and Uni, those are ones obviously that we have attention on at the moment. So look for a nice solid retest, 6.11. And let's see if that's going to give us a bounce. Now, let's talk about the most important thing. Popcat. Popcat and Mew. Don't forget about the cats. Okay, let's talk. Yes, Popcat. Okay, so Popcat, obviously, you guys saw me sweating in that thing. I was not confident, and I was really waiting for 406. And who knows, we might still actually get 406 because there is a chance that we are currently just looking at a major bear flag and we are going to drop lower at some point. So that is still on the table for me on Popcat. But in terms of the current move, let's enjoy the ride. In terms of where am I going to exit Popcat? Well, there's 2 zones now, 0.5. And if we pump into 0.55, I can assure you I will not be around after that. So the move is a possible 12% more, and right now there's a possible let's call it 3% into 0.5. So be super cautious here. That's my extreme at the moment, is 5 for me on Popcat. God, Dave, tell me why. Give me 5 reasons why I shouldn't short Bitcoin here. Give me one, actually. Give me one. Okay.
Your bonk is popping too.
Oh no, I haven't logged it, bro. I haven't logged it yet. Okay, hold on. Okay, let's go. Okay, Popcat. So guys, you've got your upside targets. Let's talk about possible support zones. Well, you can see what's gone on here. We've kind of just blown out of this this wedge that we got here. Look at that. So that also looks a little bit special to me at the moment. So we could just get something like that and then some kind of sell-off here on Popcat. So what I would say, if you are trading this thing, what do you want to be watching? Well, let's look at a couple of key levels here. And that is 462 is going to be your first zone of bullish support. So 462 is your first area of interest. And then your next one is 446. Now, there's quite a big amount of support there, 446. So, yeah, it depends how hard they go on BTC, but that is essentially what I'm looking at to the downside, okay? And then let's talk about Bonk and WIF. So how's this, James? Most bought token by smart money over the past 3 days is Bonk this time. And I mean, that was actually killer for me because I've been waiting for that lower move on Bonk over the last few days. Remember, I'm trading David Tech at the moment. He's got his bots, and I'm trading a WeX account, and I was waiting for one move on Bonk. My entry was lower down, staggered in from 178 down to those lows over there. Don't have that entry yet, and same looks very similar to me at the moment to Popcat. So if we don't get a major breakout here, this could just be a bear flag, and they start dropping us a little bit lower. So in terms of a strategy for Bonk, you can see there's a possible squeezy breakout play here, and this I mapped out for hackers about half an hour before I went live. But essentially, what you're looking at here is, if Bonk is going to remain bullish, there's two ways to play this, okay? And there's two ways to find out. Well, one major way to find out, but what typically happens on a breakout, and a reminder for those that don't know this, and if you do know this already, please forgive me for explaining again, but we're trying to break the resistance band. You most likely get a rejection at 2167, somewhere there. Then it all depends on the bulls coming to the party. Is it a fake out, or are the bulls actually going to step in and buy this Bonk on the retest? So when I see these things happening, I nibble a little bit, and then I wait for that pullback. And then when we get that dip into the next zone of support, we add to those breakout trades. Now, typically, the squeezy setup that we can see over here has a couple of options. One of them is the breakout and retest, and alternatively, it's the dip back into the trend. And if it dips back into the trend and holds, that is still typically a bull zone where you can look to buy that token. So in terms of a Bonk strategy, if you guys are looking for a Bonk entry, you can see it sticking its head through, so you can start nibbling, but don't go big, because expect a rejection, okay? Expect a rejection, and then you're going to add on the retest. So you want to protect your risk, obviously. If it does drop lower down, that is going to be your zone. 0.0195 is going to be your next zone, okay? I'll make sure this chart is in hackers for you guys, and just play safe with it, okay? It will be there ready to go. Dave, what's cooking there in your kitchen, bro?
Yeah, no, you told me to chart Trump, so I've got it here now.
Well, let's see. This is important stuff, guys. I mean, this man's got an eye for a short. Okay, I mean, this man knows a short. So let's see. Pull your screen up there.
Up there. Okay, can you guys see that?
In 1 sec. There it is. Okay.
So I've got multiple fixed range pulls here. I've got a fib pulled from this last major lower high before we had this correction, right? So that's typically where you want to pull a fib from the top to the bottom. Last lower high before this correction. Drop the fib. You can see our 618 takes us to about 1792. But now dialing in on this current range. Okay, one thing that I can tell you is that there's some serious support at $12.98 and $13. Like every time I'm pulling a fixed range, it just keeps saying there's a point of control right here. So not only do we have a point of control, but I've dropped anchored VWAPs from the lows, so all-time low, and this impulse move, and they're all coming in right around here. This also is giving me ascending triangle vibes, right? So what typically happens with ascending triangle vibes, right? We get a pop. So the only bearish thing I can tell you about Trump is that we have a bearish order block on the 2, but I'm not seeing any bearish divergence on any of the higher time frames. Starting with the daily, it's not really anywhere there. 10-hour is, you know, a couple overbought signal prints. 8-hour, right? But it's nothing dramatic or something that I would like to see as far as like a major short opportunity. Now, if we are going to get a short, you know, I have a fib pulled from the this recent high to this low where we bounced off the 50-day, and you can see the 786 is exactly where the 𝗙𝗆𝗟𝗃 high is. It's really rare to see something like that where they both tie in. So, maybe we do get some kind of pop here, right? And then we reject, but I think the rejection is probably going to be maintaining itself on this trend here. And so depending on how good the dinner goes, I'm kind of leaning more towards more of an upside move here to the 618 at $18. So, this is just kind of the initial thought process, right? If I saw more things, more bearish divergences and more overbought prints on like the daily and the 12, then yeah, maybe we're looking at a really serious short here. But at the moment, I think we're just going to get a bullish pullback here.
Okay, so short-term moves potentially. Be careful at the dinner. For me, is an opportunity. I think one of those zones, one of those two big zones, it's going to reject a little bit in my view, unless Trump announces something amazing extra about the token. But remember, this was the event, the whole dinner. You had to own Trump tokens to go to the dinner, and maybe he's going to say something, maybe he's not. But look out at those danger zones. But Dave's spot on. If you lose that rising trend, well, then you're jumping out. But anyone long, you can expect potentially longer if this move continues. So just stay on the trend, guys.
Yeah, and if you guys want to add to your position, I would wait for 1334, whenever it comes into this hot zone, and then sprinkle some size into there, and maximize it. The 786 retracement could take us all the way to $20.85.
Oh my God. Okay. Nice, bro. Very, very nice. Guys, let's recap some whiff. So whiff from yesterday. And it's funny. I mean, these moments are always so interesting. And, it's hard as a trader. You often get torn between holding on too long and round tripping or taking profits and watch something run. Now, yesterday, I gave you guys whiff, and we gave it on the school workshop. I set this up for the guys. I dropped it in Hackers before we got this low entry, okay, on whiff. So it was a banger. And then it started breaking higher, and today I closed the trade. I told Hackers I was closing a trade. It was somewhere around there, and that was at TP2. So we had 3 TP zones for whiff. We've smashed TP1, we've smashed TP2, and I'm actually out of whiff now. Okay, now with obviously major regret when you see this happening. But remember, guys, try and keep that discipline. It's super easy to see all this green like this, and then you come back 2 hours later and you've been flushed out. Okay, so just remember, take profits along the way. Whiff was obviously one of them that I wanted to close. Okay, so it wasn't a massive trade, but we did okay.
You still see a little bit more of a push on whiff?
So for me, I mean, where's this whiff now? There. So for me, whiff is 1.16. I'd say from 1.14, Dave, to 1.16, reasonable. Obviously,
I'm actually long on a whiff right now on Bitfunded. I'm about to complete challenge 1.
Show us.
Yeah, for sure.
So while Dave gets that ready, Bitfunded is part of my accelerator school. And if you're doing my accelerator school and you finish the school, you're going to get a Bitfunded challenge for free from the guys. And Bitfunded is essentially prop funded. And what you do is you get a demo account from them. You make 8% phase 1, you make 5% phase 2. And if you pass that, they give you real money to trade with, okay? And I've been running a few of these Bitfunded over time. And in workshop 2, which is on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about my strategy that I used to pass these Bitfunded challenges to get funded accounts. Now, my next workshop is coming on Tuesday. It's workshop 2. And guys, if you like the TA that you see here, if you like these reaction zones, if you like all these tricks and all these oscillators and indicators that I use, this trading accelerator course is for you guys. And I'm also going to teach you some advanced leverage tricks as well on how to build positions, all these types of things. So guys, keep it short and simple, and go to the show description, click more, and you're going to see my trading accelerator course. You don't want to miss workshop number 2. So please complete the course, and we're going to give out those Bitfundeds as well. And if you completed the course, you're going to get a Bitfunded. Okay, Dave, let's see your Bitfunded here.
Let's go.
Smashing it, bro.
So yeah, I used to trade a couple of these challenge accounts back in the days with like MetaTrader 4 and some of the Forex. Obviously it's awesome to see it in crypto now. But yeah, just been trading meme coins. Obviously, the volatility is kind of the key to speeding along through these kind of challenges. Obviously, you need to know the TA and how these guys are going to play out. But the max leverage is 5, and which is good because I always preach go 5x leverage. But at the moment, the target is to go 108 to complete the challenge. I'm at 106,496. I've already closed some of the positions here, so I took some profits off of WIF, and my current positions still are bonk, a couple bonks and a couple WIFs. So it's different than your normal exchange, right? Like you can essentially open up 5-10 trades at the same time of the same token. So there's no like averaging in or anything like that. But this is what we train everyone to do in the chart hackers: precision entry, precision exits, which is why I was asking Dylan, hey, how much more do we have to go on WIF? And so yeah, looking at that level now and looking to shave some more profits off here and essentially secure challenge 1. And kind of surprised that challenge 2 is actually easier. The target is 5K instead of 8K. So yeah, looking to complete this challenge.
Yeah, and simpler in terms of the move you need. It's but the thing about Bitfunded, guys, and you'll figure it out along the way, it actually teaches you patience. And David's trading style is actually pretty well suited to Bitfunded, because he's a very busy guy and he looks at big swing setups rather than constant degen plays all day. So it kind of suits the nature of what he gets up to. So yeah, interesting one. If you guys want to try Bitfunded on its own, there's obviously a link in the description there for you guys. And shall we look at this? Shall we have a dab? Yeah. Shall we get lickies on bonk, bro?
I'm long on bonk, so tell me where the target is.
I'm not yet, bro. I don't want to get rinsed, but I see it's breaking trend here. So let's have a little go here on bonk. Okay, I'm gonna long this thing on L-Bank here. Geez, Pingu starting to pump as well. In fact, you know what? I'm just gonna add to my Pingu. I'm just gonna add to my Pingu, a little penguin. Good penguin.
All the shit coins are ripping now.
There we go. It must be the top. It's got to be the top. Got to be the top. Okay, so I'm adding it. I'm just going to add a little bit to my Pingu. Okay, but guys, the strategy for bonk, it's the same thing. I just don't want to be in 5 billion positions here. Okay, so you can see Sol, Pingu, Sui, ENA. Okay, so bonk, that strategy can play out now, and you can nibble at that on that breakout, and then you can look for that retest. Okay, so just
my 𝗬𝗔 alert just went off, so it might have just done the bearish retest on 𝗬𝗔.
Okay, well, you investigate. I want to take the guys through a couple of others. Okay, so look at that 𝗬𝗔 for us. Guys, anyone who took the Ondo trade, we are still cooking, okay? And there's a couple of options here on Ondo. You can see Ondo is 8-hour super bullish at the moment. And all we want to do is just make sure we hold this rising trend all the way, okay? So no changes to Ondo. I'm still locked and loaded on this thing. We're still cooking. And I think it's got a little bit more legs. If Bitcoin floats under this under these highs, it might pop a little bit harder. Remember, there's bullish news on RWAs and those types of things as well. So no changes there for Ondo. In terms of degen support, 95 is what you can use for Ondo. Then in terms of virtual, guys, I think our target, James, is this 2.2. It looks like that is where we are headed at the moment. And virtual held well for us yesterday. Anybody watched the show, all we wanted to do was hold 182. And you can see it's just held the previous range lows. We broke back in and we held that as support. And now we are popping through. So in terms of virtual, the target for me, 2.18. Is where I think we can send this one easily. And then I do have my higher time frame degen targets that I wanted last time. We didn't get it, but it was 2.43 and I think it was 2.65. Those were the two big ones for me on virtual. So let's test. Let's see what happens at 2.19, 2.2. If we get that breakout, we're going to treat that breakout exactly the same way. We can play bonk and those things, and we might get a second trade on virtual to some much bigger levels. Okay, and Yumi, well done on your Pyth trade. If that is still working, yes. Okay, turning nice and green now at the moment, but I think everything is turning green. Let's go Pingu. So this was one earlier today that Panda was looking at. He's a filthy animal, that guy. Wow. And I mean, he knows how to trade a shitcoin. And this thing is now broken horizontal. So you can see I've just added to that Pingu position. So typically what I like to do is nibble at these things, and once they break through, you can add a little bit, and all you want to do is make sure any retest on Pingu that we're holding 0.013. So that's all we want to see. We want to close above that 0.013, anyone trading Pingu, and then maybe there is a move coming. In terms of what Pingu can do, you can see we've got a couple of high wicks here. Maybe there's some action on this thing. If it does rip, we probably get a 20% potentially to the high. So that is kind of what was interesting to us, and maybe we're going to get something. So 0.013 is the current safest support that I can give you, and look for a candle close above that zone. Okay, do you have some 𝗬𝗔s there, bro?
Yeah, I just don't think that it's almost here. So I think so we got value area high. We have 200 AMA. We have the 618 retracement. But I'm kind of feeling with where the market's at right now that we might come right back into this horizontal zone that you had shown us. I guess what this was last week. You were talking about the short.
Yeah.
So the daily is still, this blue reversal dot bearish divergences. I think, this is the bearish retest at the moment. But as far as like the midterm time frames, like the 4 hour still has a little bit of room to go. The 2 hour is just made our first overbought print. There's a bearish order block right here between 0.226 and 0.230. So I think just a little bit more for 𝐶DIS. And I think what we could all do here is set an alert right here at this horizontal level here. So I'm actually going to do it right now if you guys want to join me. And this is going to be at 22830. And this might be a banging short for sure. So let's see. This is bearish order block.
Writing
Value
notes.
area high. This is a 200-day MA.
What's that number?
And, yeah, that's going to be 2283.
Okay, nice.
Yep. And yeah, just looking for, obviously we can see that this fixed range pull, it held nicely on that point of control. So guys, remember when you're doing fixed range pulls, really pay attention to the point of control. It's a reaction area. But yeah, I suspect that once we get that pullback with Bitcoin, I am kind of anticipating whether 110, 112, some kind of pullback, I would imagine 𝐶DIS kind of comes back down to this region here. And maybe it's a long at that point, but that should still be a nice little 30% pullback.
Okay. I want to update the guys on Nero. So we took that Nero trade earlier today on that live trading on Crypto Live, and now we're getting our retest. So there might be something coming here for Nero, and this could be a beautiful retest here for us. Let's just make sure we get some confluence here. Let's understand some levels. Look at that banger there, that 382. Look at that bang on confluence there. So this is where we want the bulls to step in. And you can see we've also got a tight rising trend over there. So for me, Nero, guys, 7272, that is a zone. That's a must-hold zone. Alternatively, it's going to drop to, give or take, 69, that type of level there. So look for this to hold here. If there is going to be a second wind on this thing, 7272 is pretty much where it's at. If we close underneath that, then I think it's cut time. It might not be a good, it might not be the best time. James, you were looking for me.
Pepe's blowing up too.
No way.
Yeah, everybody's screaming about it in the chat, and yeah, all the shit coins are popping. Bonk, Punky, everything.
Wow. Okay, Pepe at the range highs here. Jeez, this is a bit of an explosion, this one, huh? Okay, so yeah, Pepe in a danger zone. Let's just clean this up a little bit here. Look at that. Look how this VWAP got respected here, Dave. Absolute bang off the bottom there. Okay, so now we are in our danger zone. So just be careful here. Let's see. Possible rejection right here. Okay, you can see this area. It's a fixed zone. We've also got a big 618 pool as well in that region. So it is a fighting zone. Let's see where our next area is as well. Where's our 786? Bang. Okay, there it is. That's that undercarriage there. So that is a big danger zone for me as well. So 1466, folks. 1466. Watch that. And then in terms of a degen retest, what you can do is try and use this broken horizontal as your degen support. Now, remember, the higher you go for a support pullback, the more degen you get, and using a 236 is a very degen thing to do, okay? But you can use it in emergencies, and what I can give you for Pepe on the short term is your first level that you want to see hold, 139. Watch that, 139. Look for that one to hold there as support. So if that can hold, then you might get that second wind to the upside, and then your 382 lower down, that's going to be your backup. And yeah, there's confluence here. Okay, so if this thing stays bullish, that's pretty much your extreme, 137 and 139. So you might find if there's a sharp sell-off, a quick wick, and then a pump into that zone. So 137, 139, guys, watch that. That's the most reasonable area I can give you. And then you're looking at that undercarriage there, 146, and you can look at 15 as potential upsides. And I see quite a long time ago I marked 16. I'm not sure why, but it's obviously some kind of target in that region there. Okay, so yeah, cool. And then Link's still going, guys. Anyone who got Link, I mean, it's been one of those incredible weeks where they put us under pressure, but they hold the good zones, they hold the big areas, and there's a lesson here in patience and not going too hard too much, and being patient in your trade, and understanding where the big zones are, and trusting the information that the oscillators give us. Remember, these oscillators tell us a story. They're not just signs they're overbought, oversold. They actually tell us a nice story. And when you use these oscillators in combined with a 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, 12 hour, you really get a nice picture out of these things. Obviously, I teach this in the accelerator course, and you'll get more info. Just go to that link in the description. You can do the course, and just come and understand a little bit more, as to how we felt that we were going to get some kind of reaction there on some of these tokens. Okay, so Link is doing well at the moment. Target 17.5 is the highest for now. If things go super bullish, it's 19.7 right now. Let's first just do baby steps. Let's just get through a danger zone. 17.5, pretty much where it's at. Yes, sir.
WLD, holy shit.
No way.
I don't know what just happened with that thing. That's bigger than any of the shit coins. Insane.
What?
Look at that candle. This is when crypto's fun.
Dominant.
Look at that VWAP. I think we can short this VWAP just now.
It's coming.
Ooh. Is that from the high?
Chart hackers. Yeah, I think it is, Dave. Chart hackers. I'm going to build you a short setup to play with on WLD. I think we're going to have a big zone there. If it pumps really hard like this, we might get a nice short reaction if you want to take on a hedge play or something like that. Okay, Dave, thank you, bro. Thanks for hanging. Glad you stepped in, Mr. Bullish, like that. Yeah. Mr. Bullish, thank you, sir. Dave, you didn't say goodbye properly. I cut you off, bro. I cut you off.
You did? Okay. Nah, guys. So, look, I'm glad to be here. I didn't know I was going to be on here today, but I am going to be doing an awesome collab session with Trader J tomorrow. So, for those of you guys in the chart hackers, we're going to be giving you guys a banger. And then I think rumor is tomorrow I'll be doing a little appearance.
There's something brewing. Okay, so what we got going on here is it's suited for the guys that are busy, the guys that have jobs, the guys that are, you don't have full time to sit in front of charts and things like that. Okay. And David is one of those guys. He takes swing trades. He does a couple of trades, a couple of charts a week, and he takes 1 or 2 trades. And what I've actually asked him to do is give you guys a glimpse of it once a week on Banter Plus. Okay. So make sure, again, you are subscribed to this channel as well. And Dave will be coming out tomorrow night. We'll do a test run. And he's going to give you a couple of his long-term setup that he does, his swing trades. And that's obviously just a taster of some of the things he gets up to in chart hackers. But I think it's time. I think it's time we unleash the weapon, and you guys can see what an actual fucking weapon we are dealing with here. Okay, so there you go, sir. So catch him tomorrow on Banter Plus, and catch him in Hackers. Yes. Chart Hackers becoming a banter incubator. Guys, Chart Hackers has got such fucking good traders. I mean, I feel like selfish keeping them all to myself in there. I want you guys to experience what we've got in there. Okay. And we've got everyone covered, from swing traders to DJ and breakout traders. We've got Jay fucking killing it with his gold and his NASDAQ and some of his stock stuff as well. We're having fun, and you're going to get a glimpse of that very soon. Okay. James, thank you, sir. See you later. Okay, guys, I'm out. Good luck. Remember, dupes tomorrow. Me and dupes live trading. Reminder, me and dupes live trading. Go here. Subscribe.
Gonna get smoked.
Oh, we're gonna smoke each other's pulse. Okay, go there. Crypto Live. Subscribe. Be ready for us. Okay. See you guys later.